mengembangkan sistem informasi untuk pencatatan dan pelaporan kasus TB dari tingkat fasilitas kesehatan, yaitu dengan menggunakan SITB yang baru. Dan data yang dilaporkan di SITB ini dapat digunakan atau seharusnya digunakan untuk memantau penemuan kasus TB, pengobatannya, kemudian juga dalam melakukan hasil investigasi kontak, serta data penunjang lainnya untuk mengevaluasi keefektifan program pencegahan dan pengendalian TB yang sedang dilakukan. Data-data tersebut juga menjadi dasar untuk menentukan prioritas dalam upaya penanggulangan tuberkulosis. Dan pembuat kebijakan di tingkat provinsi, yaitu para pengelola program TB, itu kami melihat penting posisinya agar memiliki kompetensi dalam melakukan analisis situasi wilayahnya masing-masing berdasarkan data-data epidemiologi yang ada. Dan hal ini bertujuan untuk pengambilan keputusan dalam upaya pengendalian TB dilakukan secara evidence-based dan dapat diukur capaiannya. Upaya analisis situasi wilayah dapat dilakukan menggunakan aplikasi penunjang. Salah satunya yang ada sekarang adalah dengan menggunakan District Health Information Software 2 atau kita singkat menjadi DHIS 2. Di mana aplikasi ini merupakan suatu sistem informasi manajemen kesehatan berbasis web terbesar di dunia. Dan sistem informasi ini mempermudah pemerintah dan organisasi untuk mendapatkan, mengelola, dan menganalisis informasi kesehatan. Adapun konstruksi dari DHIS 2 ini merupakan data warehouse atau gudang data yang dapat mengintegrasikan berbagai data kesehatan mulai dari tingkat Fasiankes dan dapat ditampilkan serta diakses oleh berbagai level organisasi kesehatan. Oleh karena itu, kami, Subdit Tuberkulosis, berniat mengadakan kegiatan workshop analisis epidemiologi tuberkulosis kepada para pengelola program TB di tingkat provinsi. Workshop ini akan dilaksanakan selama 5 hari, mulai hari ini, tanggal 23 sampai 27 November 2020. Kegiatan ini akan difasilitasi oleh para tim dari WHO Pusat dari Geneva bersama dengan tim dari Subdit Tuberkulosis. Diharapkan total peserta kegiatan ini adalah sekitar 125 orang. Tapi tadi saya lihat ya baru sekitar 60 atau 50. Di mana 125 orang ini terdiri dari Subdit TB, kemudian dari Pusdatin. Pusdatin ini ada dari bidang pengembangan sistem informasi. Kemudian Bapak dan Ibu rekan-rekan Kepala Bidang P2 Dinas Kesehatan Provinsi, para pengelola program TB di Dinas Kesehatan Provinsi, Technical Officer, dan Data Officer TB di Dinkes Provinsi. Tujuan kegiatan ini adalah untuk meningkatkan kapasitas pengelola program TB di tingkat provinsi untuk melakukan analisis situasi TB di masing-masing wilayah dengan pendekatan epidemiologi. Adapun tools yang digunakan dalam workshop ini adalah menggunakan analisis melalui DHIS 2 yang sudah banyak digunakan di berbagai negara dan memiliki fitur yang memudahkan analisis data TB. Jadi Bapak-Ibu sekalian, kita ini akan belajar menggunakan aplikasi ini, DHIS 2 ini, sehingga Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, itu dalam melakukan analisis data, itu akan lebih mudah. Nanti akan diajari oleh teman-teman dari WHO di Geneva, untuk mengoptimalkan bagaimana cara pengoperasian aplikasi ini, sehingga Bapak Ibu sekalian nanti bisa secara cepat ya dan lebih mudah dalam mengolah data memiliki TB dan lain-lain. Jadi bagaimana mengolah data menjadi informasi. Ini gitu. Informasi ini harus ada analisisnya. Nah, ini bisa didapatkan dengan lebih mudah apabila kita semua mengoptimalkan DHIS 2. Nah, setelah workshop ini dilakukan, diharapkan Bapak dan Ibu, para peserta memahami bagaimana menganalisis dan menginterpretasi data program TB, menyajikan informasi dari visualisasi data program TB, dan mampu menentukan upaya strategis pengendalian TB berdasarkan temuan-temuan dari analisis epidemiologi yang telah dilakukan. Jadi ini cukup lengkap kalau dilihat di sini softwarenya, jadi bisa sampai membuat opsi-opsi apa saja yang perlu dilakukan dari hasil analisis data di wilayah Bapak dan Ibu sekalian. Namun sekali lagi, seperti yang kita ketahui bersama, software seperti ini memang perlu data-data yang lengkap. Sehingga kelengkapan data ini menjadi suatu hal yang sangat penting. Kemudian yang kedua adalah kevaliditasannya. Kalau dia tidak valid, ya, maka nanti analisisnya juga akan membingungkan kita. Jadi biasa kita sebut sebagai GIGU, garbage in, garbage out. Jadi memang betul-betul data yang masuk, data yang diolah menggunakan DHIS 2 ini, itu memang betul-betul data yang baik, data yang lengkap, dan data yang valid. Sehingga nanti hasil analisis dan opsi-opsi yang ditawarkan itu juga baik gitu ya. Bapak sekalian, kami berharap agar bisa mengikuti seluruh rangkaian workshop ini dan berpartisipasi aktif dalam kegiatan diskusi agar dapat menerapkan materi-materi yang disampaikan dalam pelaksanaan program TB di lapangan. Dan tentu saja kami mohon bahwa ini sekali lagi karena workshopnya online, ya memang inilah yang bisa kita lakukan. Jadi butuh perhatian yang ekstra ya bagi Bapak dan Ibu sekalian untuk mengikuti workshop ini agar bisa menangkap message, menangkap pesan, menangkap informasi yang disampaikan selama kegiatan workshop ini. Apalagi nanti Pak Sulis, Pak Mas Tio, ini nanti Babis pakai translator ya?
Ada translator Pak di ini kita sudah siapkan. Ya.
Sudah siapkan ya. Ya. Jadi Bapak dan Ibu nggak usah khawatir, nanti ada translatornya. Translatornya kan 2 arah, bahasa Indonesia bisa diterjemahkan kan?
Iya.
Teman-teman?
Iya Pak, iya betul.
Iya, jadi 2 arah toh?
Langsung di laptopnya bisa di Zoom-nya Pak, sudah difasilitasi.
Enggak, maksudnya kalau teman-teman tanya, dari mereka tanya nggak jelas itu ke teman-teman dari WHO, itu nanti siapa yang menerjemahkan?
Ada, kita sudah hire Pak. Ada orang yang di-hire.
Oh, udah ya. Oke.
Iya.
Baik. Ya, oke. Jadi itu tadi. Jadi sudah lengkap, jangan khawatir teman-teman untuk tanya ya. Silakan bertanya apabila ada yang kurang jelas, ya nggak usah khawatir karena sudah ada, kita sediakan penterjemah juga. Jadi mohon bisa berpartisipasi dengan aktif ya, agar diskusinya ini bisa hidup dan teman-teman bisa menggunakan betul-betul software ini atau aplikasi ini di dalam pelaksanaan program TB di lapangan. Dan atas izin Allah Subhanahu wa taala, pertemuan workshop analisis epidemiologi tuberkulosis Ini secara resmi saya buka dengan bacaan Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Selamat sore. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya, terima kasih Pak Imran. Bapak Ibu sekalian, demikianlah arahan dari Bapak Kasubdit TB, Dr. Imran Pambudi, yang sekaligus membuka acara untuk workshop analisis data. Kita melangkah ke acara berikutnya. Babis, kami persilakan dari tim Genève to menyampaikan pengantar untuk workshop ini. Dan kami mohon untuk memperkenalkan diri dari masing-masing tim. Babis, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Imran, Pak Sulis, colleagues, friends. It is a pleasure to be here online and going ahead with this activity. As in fact a lot of you know, this is an activity that we have been planning with Indonesia for a couple of years now. This is so the time is finally here. The whole team here in Geneva is very excited that this is finally going ahead. Just as a bit of a background to this workshop, this really comes as a global priority based on all the work that we have been doing with epidemiological reviews. We have implemented about 60 epidemiological reviews over the last 3 years. One of the most important bottlenecks that comes up for the work that the national TB programs are doing is very limited analysis of the data that they're collecting. So you have a lot of people that go out in the field that collect information, they collect data, but then there is very little work on that data that is being done. So the data, if you like, are quite inaccessible and unused. So the people who, the frontline workers, don't really fully appreciate, don't get the opportunity to really appreciate the information they're collecting and to really use the information they're collecting on a daily basis. And we have found this common finding in every country, even countries with strong surveillance systems have had limitations about the analysis of the information. So what we decided we had to do as a global priority is provide a solution to that. Really provide an opportunity for making the health facility data, the TB surveillance health facility data, available for routine analysis. What you're going to be working on this week is exactly that. We have used the software DHIS tool to design these analytical dashboards. So there are some standardized analytical dashboards, and you will have the opportunity this week to go through a lot of detail with these dashboards. And this will essentially imagine it as you're going through the exercises as part of your daily work. We would like you to see how you think this can fit in your daily work. Imagine having the opportunity as you go through your health facilities or as you go through your districts or your provinces, depending at what level you're working on, having access to all the information, to all the data, in order to be able and make decisions, in order to be able and understand what works well and what doesn't work well, in order to be able and inform policy making decisions or other programmatic decisions or other advocacy decisions. We believe that this is truly a powerful tool. The idea also with this tool is that it will work in conjunction along with your case-based surveillance system. So currently you have SITB that you are expanding it, you're collecting the information with SITB. What we are using this week is not trying to replace SITB. In fact, it's going to work. The idea is that it works seamlessly with SITB, that it works in conjunction with SITB and facilitate, and there are automatic linkages potentially between SITB and this DHIS2 platform that you will be using this week. So you will not have to worry about double data entering or anything like that. So this is important to note. We're not trying to replace anything. We're just trying to provide you with more access to your data and really make your daily work much more enjoyable and really programmatically much more useful. All right, so I also wanted to say that on behalf of the Geneva team, so we have Gita Parvati, we have Marek Lally, we have Marie Bartens, and also Thomas Matas and myself. So there are 5 people from Geneva who are going to be with you all week, offering facilitation this week. We would also like to say that, as also Pak Imran said, we have been working in Indonesia for many years, and we hope to continue to work in Indonesia for many years to come, as much as you find that useful. So please consider that this team is available to help you also for the future. This is, this is the first opportunity that we get to meet a lot of you, the provincial people. We have been working very closely with the national team for a long time now, but this is a great opportunity for us also to meet you, provincial and district level people. Please consider as part of the team. We are here to support you and help you. So this is a great week to start this, this introduction. But we can, we are here for you even in the future. So without further ado, I would just again like to say thank you for the opportunity and really just enjoy this week. I believe very much in this tool, in these analytical dashboards. I believe that it can greatly help you with your work on a daily basis. So please take all the opportunity that you get and invest some time to try and familiarize yourself with it and imagine how it can help your work, your routine work as you go through the exercises. Thank you very much. Pak Sulis, back to you.
Thank you for Babis for introduction about this workshop. Pak Imran, kami perkenankan Pak Imran untuk menyampaikan paparan Pak untuk acara selanjutnya.
Ya, baik, Pak Sulis. Suara saya cukup jelas terdengar ya?
Iya, Pak.
Ya.
Yes.
Baik.
Sorry, before Pak Imran, before we go into this presentation, I think we have a presentation about the objectives of the workshop. Before we go into this NTP, Marek is going to be giving that presentation. Am I right, Pak Sulis, from the agenda?
Maybe after Pak Imran presentasi.
Okay, all right, okay.
Iya.
Oke,
Silakan Pak Imran.
Baik, Pak Sulis. Ya, Bapak sekalian. Jadi di dalam paparan saya yang berjudul situasi dan capaian program TB di Indonesia ini, mungkin beberapa slide sudah pernah saya tampilkan. Di dalam kerangka paparan ini ada situasi tentang TB-nya seperti apa, capaian program TB di Indonesia, strategi penanggulangan TB, dan bagaimana pelaksanaan rekomendasi TB Epidemiologi 2019. Jadi Bapak Ibu sekalian, kalau kita lihat di sini, bagaimana roadmap kita itu tujuannya ending TB 2050, tetapi kita tujuan berikutnya adalah sebelumnya adalah eliminasi tuberkulosis tahun 2030, di mana P2 PML ini cukup banyak ya, roadmap dan sasaran ya, HIV, ada kemudian kusta, frambosia, dan lain-lain. Dan sekarang kita sudah menginjak tahun 2020, artinya tidak sampai 10 tahun ya, atau 9 tahun lagi kita harus bisa mencapai eliminasi tuberkulosis. Ini adalah gambaran kita sekarang. 2019 ini estimasi kasus kita juga tidak berkurang atau tidak bertambah. Treatment coverage kita itu sedikit menurun dibandingkan tahun lalu, karena notifikasi kasus kita juga menurun sedikit. Kemudian yang juga perlu diperhatikan adalah ini, kematian karena TB, di mana di dalam SITT hanya ada 12.469 kematian karena pasien-pasien TB yang meninggal selama masa pengobatan ini. Nah, padahal di dalam Global TB Report itu ada 96.000. Artinya adalah memang masih banyak yang belum ketemu, masih underreported atau unnotified. Ya. Tugas kita selanjutnya adalah bagaimana kita bisa menemukan pasien TB itu sebanyak-banyaknya. Dan artinya, sekalian, kalau kita lihat perbandingannya 96.000 dibandingkan 12.469, artinya ada sekitar berapa? 80.000 atau 78.000 kematian itu yang memang pasiennya atau orangnya ini belum mendapatkan pengobatan tentang TB. Artinya itu sangat besar. Jadi memang betul notifikasi kasus kita itu harus ditingkatkan. Ini adalah kita bandingkan global report ya, 3 tahun terakhir. Kita lihat di sini estimasi kasusnya itu tetap meskipun rate-nya menurun tapi tipis menurunnya. Kemudian kematiannya ini kalau hanya TB, kematian karena TB itu 93.000, kalau tahun-tahun ini 92.000, kemudian dan lain-lain. Nah, Ibu sekalian, saya kira satu hal yang penting kita cermati adalah kita sekarang menjadi ranking 2 terbanyak penderita TB di dunia. Kalau tahun sebelumnya ranking ketiga, tahun ini menjadi ranking 2. Ini mengapa terjadi? Penyebabnya adalah ini, penurunan rata-ratanya itu kalah cepat ya, dengan pertambahan penduduknya. Jadi pertambahan penduduknya itu lebih cepat dibandingkan penurunan ininya, penurunan insidennya. Jadi memang kita perlu bekerja dengan lebih keras dan lebih cerdas. Tentu saja apa yang bisa kita lakukan itu terkait juga dengan bagaimana menganalisa datanya dan memanage datanya seperti apa. Ini kalau kita lihat ya, grafiknya ya relatif ini pelan banget ya, turunnya hampir nggak kelihatan, ini menurun. Ini adalah satu hal yang cukup menarik juga, bahwa apa saja attributable factors yang attributable risk untuk tuberkulosis ya. Kita lihat di sini Indonesia itu sekarang yang paling tinggi adalah terkait malnutrisi. Jadi meningkat karena nutrisi atau malnutrisi kita itu lebih tinggi. Berbeda dengan tahun sebelumnya adalah merokok. Nah, ini sebenarnya suatu gambaran yang pas bahwa Indonesia memang sekarang juga bermasalah di stunting, gitu ya. Sehingga perlu kita lakukan integrasi kegiatan-kegiatan kita antara TB dengan stunting. Ini adalah notifikasi kasus kita, seperti yang beberapa kali saya sampaikan, ini sempat naik, ya, cukup banyak naiknya tahun 2017, 2018, 2019 itu stagnan. Kemudian treatment suksesnya juga relatif turun dibandingkan tahun-tahun sebelumnya. Ini kalau kita lihat provinsinya seperti ini. Kemudian untuk TBRO, gambarannya membaik ya. Kalau saya lihat sini membaik trennya, meskipun pelan tapi membaik pada tahun-tahun ini. Namun untuk treatment suksesnya untuk TBRO juga relatif stagnan atau bahkan menurun. Ini untuk kasus TBRO, kemudian TBSO dan TB HIV yang ada di Indonesia. TBSO pada anak ini saya kira meningkat dengan cukup tajam ya. Jadi kalau kita lihat proporsinya di antara tahun 2018 ke 2019 itu saya melihat proporsi untuk TB anak itu meningkat cukup tinggi. Dan saya juga khawatir dengan adanya COVID ini, maka household transmission juga cukup tinggi dan korban paling banyak ya atau paling memungkinkan itu adalah TB pada anak. Bapak sekalian, ini adalah sebaran dari fasilitas kesehatan yang bisa menangani tuberkulosis. Ya, ini adalah laboratoriumnya. Ya, kita juga akan memperkuat atau menambah TCM ini supaya kita bisa paling tidak mempunyai sekitar 2.300 mesin TCM sampai dengan tahun 2023 di seluruh Indonesia. Saat ini kita sudah ada 988, kemudian kita beli lagi penambahan pada akhir tahun ini ada sekitar 270-an. Nah, Bapak-Ibu sekalian, di grafik yang di atas ini, kami menunjukkan bahwa berapa banyak sih vaskes-vaskes yang lapor kasus TB pada tahun 2019 dengan triwulan 3 ini. Kita lihat di sini terjadi penurunan, ya, baik di puskesmas, rumah sakit, kemudian BPKPM, bahkan di klinik. Nah, di klinik ini sudah kecil, sekarang lebih kecil lagi. Padahal dari studi-studi yang sudah kita lakukan sebelumnya, swasta itu mempunyai kontribusi yang cukup besar sebetulnya. Karena lebih dari separuh pasien TB itu berobat pertamanya ke vaskes swasta. Sehingga kalau vaskes-vaskes swasta ini atau klinik-klinik pertama tadi itu tidak bisa melaporkan kasus TB, maka kita akan mengalami kehilangan ya, loss yang cukup besar. Ini adalah buku strategi nasional kita, dan moga-moga dalam waktu yang tidak lama lagi akan disusul dengan peraturan presiden tentang tuberkulosis, penanggulangan tuberkulosis. Dan setelah keluar perpresnya ini, maka kita akan melakukan revisi Permenkes nomor 67 karena terdapat hal-hal yang perlu diupdate dan diselaraskan dengan perpres yang ada tadi. Ini adalah indikator dampak dan target TB dari ini ada baseline-nya sampai ada target-target sampai tahun 2024, karena ini adalah menjadi pelengkap atau menjadi indikator di dalam RPJMN Indonesia. Dan saya kira beberapa indikator yang baru ya, itu ada di sini. Pertama adalah terkait dengan enrollment rate TB, itu kita penting untuk masukkan di indikator. Kemudian ini juga baru, cakupan pemberian terapi pencegahan tuberkulosis pada kontak serumah. Ya. Bapak sekalian, kita harus ingat juga bahwa pada akhir tahun 2019 kita telah melakukan TB EPI review, di mana kalau nggak salah Babis juga datang ke Indonesia waktu itu, kemudian juga dengan tim, ada Marek dan lain-lain. Di dalam EPI review itu kita mengupas ya, data-data yang ada di Indonesia, kemudian dinilai oleh teman-teman dari WHO. Saya ingat waktu itu ada beberapa rekomendasi yang disampaikan, kemudian jadi setelah dinilai kemudian dilakukan rekomendasi. Nah, apa saja rekomendasi dari TB EPI review itu? Ya. Rekomendasinya dibagi dua kelompok besar, yaitu short term high impact dan mid term high impact. Short term high impact itu adalah apa saja yang mempunyai daya ungkit tinggi dan bisa dilakukan dalam jangka waktu yang pendek. Pertama adalah melakukan fasilitasi dan melakukan analisis data rutin. Kemudian berikutnya adalah untuk memperkuat kualitas pencatatan dan pelaporan. Ketiga adalah bagaimana meningkatkan pengukuran indikator-indikator TB secara langsung. Direct measurement of TB burden. Kemudian yang keempat adalah bagaimana memperkuat monitoring, supervisi, dan kontrol kualitas dari pelayanan dasar ya, sampai dengan rujukan dan juga kebijakannya. Kemudian apa yang bisa dilakukan untuk mid-term high impact? Daya ungkitnya tinggi, tetapi dilakukannya dalam proses dalam jangka waktu yang sedang, tidak pendek juga. Pertama adalah melakukan atau mengimplementasikan electronic case-based recording and reporting surveillance system di Indonesia. Jadi bagaimana kita bisa memperkuat SITB kita, baik dari sisi pelaporannya dan dari sisi analisisnya. Kemudian kedua adalah development of high quality vital registration system. Nah, sekali lagi terkait dengan registrasi vital, pencatatan vital, yang domainnya ada di kalau nggak salah ini di Kementerian dalam negeri ya, vital registration ini. Jadi kita harus bisa meyakinkan mereka untuk bisa membuat sistem catatan vital registration yang dilengkapi dengan coding dalam hal kasus atau penyebab kematiannya, sehingga begitu nanti dicari kodenya itu, maka langsung akan mudah keluar dan mudah karena kemudian apa pelaksanaan rekomendasi di TB EPI review 2019 ya, ini bahasa Indonesianya. Kita melakukan data capaian KB, data capaian kabupaten kota di DHIS 2 TB historicalnya, kemudian mengembangkan aplikasi mobile dashboard program TB Indonesia yang isinya adalah visualisasi data menggunakan grafik atau tabel atau peta. Ini sudah beberapa kali kami coba sampaikan agar kita itu bisa mempunyai suatu aplikasi seperti di dalam handphone kan ada yang TB apa namanya, di sini ada, kalau saya lihat, khusus untuk bisa ini NTB report ya. Kalau kita punya di WHO yang membuat NTB report itu tiap tahun diupdate ya, untuk tiap-tiap negara. Nah, kalau bisa kita membuat yang versi seperti ini, tapi untuk level kabupaten kota. Kemudian kita juga perlu berkoordinasi dengan Pusdatin dalam pengembangan aplikasi satu data kesehatan. Kemudian bagaimana menyusun juknis, surveillance dan program TB nasional di dalam tahun 2020 yang berisi cara validasi dan cleaning data pada semua level. Kemudian melakukan integrasi SITB dengan sistem informasi yang lain seperti rumah sakit, Wi-Fi TB, MSO, BPJS, dan juga M4. Dan yang terakhir, mengembangkan SITB versi online dan offline. Jadi offline juga sudah kita buat kemarin, atau kira-kira 3 minggu lalu kita sudah melakukan pelatihan juga. Semoga setelah ini tidak ada kendala bagi teman-teman yang tidak mempunyai akses internet yang cukup baik. Saya kira itu yang bisa saya sampaikan, Pak Tio, Ibu sekalian. Semoga ini bisa jadi gambaran apa yang Bapak dan Ibu bisa lakukan. Dan terima kasih. Selamat sore. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ya, terima kasih Pak Imran. Bapak Ibu sekalian, demikianlah paparan dari Bapak Kasubdit TB. Pak Imran, mohon izin sebelum marak paparan, kita berfoto bersama Pak sebagai bahan dokumentasi. Ya.
Silakan.
Mbak Atika, silakan diatur. Bapak Ibu mohon dibuka itunya, layarnya masing-masing supaya bisa difoto.
Ya, Bapak Ibu silakan mengaktifkan videonya agar dapat terlihat untuk foto bersama.
Ini ada 4 layer ini Mbak Tika, jadi silakan
Ya,
dikomando.
ada 4 slide ya Pak.
Ya. Tos TB Mbak Tika.
Bapak Ibu sudah mengaktifkan video semuanya? Oke, baik, untuk foto pertama kita pakai pose tos TB ya Pak Tio.
Ya, silakan.
Ya, saya akan screenshot. 1, 2, 3. Ya, sebentar saya save dulu. Ya, untuk slide yang kedua saya foto lagi ya Bapak Ibu. 1, 2, 3. Nah, kemudian ya, ini ada beberapa yang belum membuka video, Pak. Untuk yang
Ya, nggak apa-apa, langsung aja. Ya.
Cukup atau ada pose lain, Pak Tio?
Udah, tos TB aja semuanya. Tos TB.
Ya.
Tio, nanti ini acaranya setiap hari sore ya mulainya?
Iya Pak, nanti dari pagi itu kita mulai, kita fasilitasi dari Indonesia, kemudian nanti pada jam 1-an nanti sambung difasilitasi sama teman-teman dari Geneva.
Oh, oke. Ya, jadi belum.
Ya, baik Bapak Ibu. Foto terakhir kali lagi kita post tos TB bersama-sama.
Iya, beli.
1,
karena kan tadinya kan mau di print, mengingat waktu mepet.
Ya, cukup. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu.
Oh iya, siap. Teh jadi bicara
Iya.
guys.
Bapak Ibu sekalian, terima kasih.
Ini yang sayangnya nggak ada malah. Aku yang
Pak Imran, terima kasih atas penyampaian paparannya. Pak Imran, kita mohon izin untuk meneruskan acara selanjutnya, yaitu paparan dari Mark.
Ya, silakan.
Iya.
Oke.
Babis, ya, makasih Pak ya. Babis, we please present to Mark.
Yes, I just wanted to say something I forgot. So also from the WHO side, of course, there's been the support of our country office. So just to really acknowledge all the excellent work that Jonathan and Regina have been doing on our side from Indonesia. Apologies, I forgot to mention them before. I think most of you know them, but just to say. Thank you for all the work they've done in preparing the workshop. So, so I think now it's time to move on to Marek. So he will provide a presentation about the key objectives that are going to be covered with this workshop and the methods that we're going to be using. Marek, are you ready?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. Okay, so thanks, Babis, and thank you, Pak Sulistyo and Pak Imran, for the introductions, welcoming remarks, and giving the comprehensive overview of the situation in the country. So as Babis mentioned, I'm just going to take about 15 minutes just to introduce how the workshop will function. So I'm going to share my screen. I hope everyone can see this. So we have 4 main objectives for the workshop. The first one's to build capacity on the use of DHIS2 for TB. So we already heard a bit of an introduction on the platform. We're going to look at navigating through the dashboards, how to generate reports, pivot tables, mapping, and do some data export throughout the week. We'll review the key indicators for monitoring TB epidemiology at the subnational level, as well as the definitions for recording and reporting. We'll analyze and interpret TB surveillance data using the DHIS2 platform at the subnational level to inform decision-making and programmatic action. And finally, we'll review the standard DHIS2 dashboards that we've developed at WHO for TB surveillance. And we'll ask you to have a bit of a discussion and identify any additional dashboards that you might think would be useful for Indonesia for facilitating the analyses based on your local context. So as we've already heard, this is a 5-day workshop. It's going to be implemented, of course, in a virtual way. We have a mixed approach for the learning for the workshop. We have a series of videos that we're going to ask you to watch. We'll have some time for independent work where you're going to be working on exercises together and analyzing your data using DHIS2. We'll be having some discussions. And then finally, at the end, we'll ask you guys to feedback some of the key results and key findings from your analyses throughout the week. So there's 2 main methods here. We'll have some independent time, mainly mornings Indonesia time. We're going to be working yourselves along with the facilitators, the local facilitators, and then we'll have live sessions with us here from the facilitators in Geneva. 5 core topics will be covered throughout the week, and these are the analysis for indicators for the notifications of both in numbers and in rates. We'll look at the indicators for assessing internal consistency of our data. We'll look at indicators for MDR-TB, for TB-HIV co-infection, and then finally for treatment outcomes. So as I mentioned, the days are going to be structured in 2 parts. In your morning, so in Indonesia morning, you'll have independent work time to work through the exercises and to watch the videos with some of the local support from the NTP and the WHO Indonesia office. And then in the afternoon, we will log on from Geneva, we'll connect, and we'll have a live session together with us. And these sessions, the live sessions with us from WHO Geneva will be 3.5 hours long every day. So every afternoon for 3.5 hours in Indonesia. Just to describe this a bit more clearly. So In the morning, you'll have independent work with the NTP and WHO Indonesia office as support. You'll have 2 videos to watch on 2 different topics. During these 2 videos, which are about 30 minutes each, we'll ask you to send your questions to the facilitators through the chat function. And then in the afternoon, your time, we will join you and we'll ask the facilitators to have made a summary for us and translated your questions. The first thing we will do is summarize the key points from the first video. We'll respond to your questions and we'll introduce the exercise that's related to that video. And then we'll start the independent work for that video. So we'll have 1.5 hours together where we'll begin the exercise together and help you through the first few questions at least. And then we'll move on to the second topic. So we'll cover the key summary points from video 2. We'll respond to whatever questions you had for that video, and we'll introduce the exercise for that topic. And we'll do the same thing. We'll have 1.5 hours together for independent work, where we'll begin the exercise together with support from us. And so as I mentioned here, we're only beginning the exercises together. So the other thing we expect from the morning is for you to finalize this work from the topics from the previous day. You'll have 2 hours allocated in the morning to finish up the 2 exercises that we started together from the previous day. Looking at the agenda more closely, so today is all about introductions, presenting the context, and DHIS2 demonstration. We already heard the presentation from Pak Imran just before this one. And after this presentation, we'll move on to Tomasz, who will give a live demonstration on DHIS2 platform and highlighting the main components that we'll be using throughout the week. And then tomorrow, Tuesday, so in your morning, we'll have 2 hours allocated where we will ask you to practice using DHIS2 from what you've been shown today from Tomasz. And then we'll move on to the 2 videos, as I mentioned. So we'll ask you in your morning to watch the notifications video and the internal consistency video, and send all of your questions to the local facilitators. In the afternoon, we'll highlight the key points and answer questions from the notifications exercise video, introduce the exercise, and we'll have 1.5 hours to work on the notifications exercise together. And we'll do the same for the internal consistency, where we'll answer your questions, highlight the key points, and then begin the internal consistency exercise together. And this is the format for the rest of the week. In the morning on Wednesday, you'll have 2 hours to finish those 2 exercises of notifications and internal consistency. And then we'll move on to the next 2 topics, which will be MDR-TB and TB-HIV, following the same structure. Thursday, you'll finalize your exercises for MDR-TB and TB-HIV, and the rest of the day is looking at treatment outcomes. So rather than just beginning the exercise together on Thursday for treatment outcomes, we'll spend the rest of the day on treatment outcomes and actually finalize the exercise by the end of the day. And then finally on Friday, it's a bit special, it's a bit different from the rest of the week. You'll have 1 hour to finish the presentations, which we're going to ask you to present to us on the final day in the afternoon. And then we'll have a focus group discussion on what other dashboards you think would be useful for your country. So throughout the week, you'll be looking at multiple dashboards that are standardized dashboards in DHIS2, but this doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be adjusted. So we'll ask you to think throughout the week of different additional dashboards that you might think would be useful for the context. And then finally, once we hear your feedback from the dashboards, we will invite 2 or 3 provinces to present the interesting findings from your analyses. All of the material for the workshop can be found in a Dropbox folder. The link is on this slide, and I'm hoping it was shared with you through email as well. If not, then it'd be good if we can do that. In here, we'll find the agenda, we'll find the videos that we'll ask you to watch in the mornings. You'll find the presentation, the PowerPoint presentations that are associated with the videos, and you're welcome to keep these and refer to them throughout the week as well. There's a template for your participant presentations to help guide you through that process and help you put something together for Friday. And there's the guidance and exercise documents, which we'll be using throughout the week as well. So it would be useful if everyone could read the guidance for tuberculosis and TB program managers, which is a document we see on the left. It's something that will be referred to throughout the week and provides guidance on the type of analyses that we will be doing as part of the exercises. And then there's an accompanying exercise book, which is what's going to guide you through the analyses with DHIS2. So for the exercises, these will be done, your analyses will be done at the provincial and district level. So you'll analyze your province and then the districts under you. And each exercise is structured in a similar way, where the first part is covering the analysis at the provincial level. And then the second part is a more detailed analysis looking at the district level over time and variation of the indicators across the districts. Here are some tips to try to manage the exercise process, the independent work. You'll see in the exercise book that there's some space for you to write your answers, but we would really recommend that you answer your questions for the exercises in a blank Word document. So imagine you're writing a report and you're using the exercise book as guidance for writing this report for your analyses. You can use the snip function in Windows to copy paste screenshots of the graphs or of the maps from DHIS2 directly into your Word document. And there you answer the questions and you can take notes in that document of any interesting findings that you might want to present on Friday. And then that will be your source document where you can just copy your main findings directly into the presentation template. And we recommend working on these 2 documents in parallel throughout the week. So your exercise, answering the questions in the Word document, and then putting together your presentation for Friday. For the analyses, we'll be using DHIS2, that's which was already mentioned a few times. It's an online platform at tbhistoric.org, as we see on the slide. So just to highlight again, DHIS2 is, even though it might be a platform you haven't seen before, it's still presenting the Indonesian data. So what we've done is taken the data from SITT and SITB, and this was aggregated on a quarterly basis and then entered into DHIS2 system at the district level. And then DHIS2 automatically aggregates this data from the district level to the provincial level, and then another aggregation from provincial to the national level. There's one special case to mention, that for Bali, we have 4 districts where the data from SITT and SITB were actually entered at the health facility level. So 1 level lower than the district. And then from there, it was aggregated to the district and then up towards the province and national level. And this is only for a couple of districts in Bali, and it's only for demonstration purposes for the workshop. But all provinces will be doing their analysis on the provincial and district levels at least. When you go to tbhistoric.org, which we'll see in more detail when Tomasz does his demonstration, you'll first be presented with this login page. And you'll see that there's a space for username and password. Each province has a specific username and password, so we'll just ask you to log in with that information that was provided to you. Once you log in, you'll be presented with the dashboards. And this is just one screenshot of what it looks like for notifications and rates. And we see that on the top tab, we have the different dashboards that we'll be using throughout the different exercises during this week. So the data that's been taken from SITT and SITB and entered into this platform has been automatically presented on graphs, on charts, and on maps for your interpretation. The expected outcomes of the workshop is by the end of the week, you will have analyzed all of your data that's been provided. You will have produced a report based on the exercises. You will have prepared a presentation for which we provide the template in the Dropbox. And then on Friday, you'll present the most interesting findings from your analyses that you've done throughout the week. And this process and output should really replicate the type of analyses done for your programmatic decision-making processes and the types of epidemiological reports and presentations you'll be using for your provincial and other relevant meetings. Just to summarize that, we have our tools for guidance, which is the exercise book and the guidance document for TB program managers. We have our tool for analysis, which is our DHIS2 TB Historic online platform. You'll be using these two tools to create a report in Word. You'll answer the questions to the exercise in Word. You can take screenshots using the snip function in Windows to copy from the dashboard your various charts or maps into your Word document, and then answer your exercise questions and provide any interpretations. From that, you'll translate the most interesting key findings into a PowerPoint presentation. Again, we've provided a template that's in the Dropbox. And on day 5, on Friday, we'll ask a couple provinces to present a maximum of 5 slides, picking the most interesting findings from their week. The participant presentation template is pretty self-explanatory. We hope it's easy to use. On the first slide, we just ask you to replace the text with the name of your province, and then on bottom to replace the text with your name. We have on slide 2 overall instructions on how to create your presentation. You can then delete this slide when you're finished. And then for each slide, we have the name of the indicator that we want to look at on top. And then we'll just ask you to copy and paste and put some key findings from your interpretation in the text box. And then in the notes section, you have some specific instructions or guidance to help you think through what you might want to present on that slide. What I'm showing here is in English, but we have a Bahasa version that's been translated for you in the Dropbox as well. So you're free to use that into your presentation that way as well. And this is just my last slide, just to remind you that everything that I presented here, all the material, including this presentation, if you want to go back and review what the process is and what the outcomes are available in the Dropbox link. Thank you. That's the end of my presentation. I don't know if there were any questions that came through that I might have to explain before we move on to the next one.
Ya, baik Bapak Ibu, dari apa yang telah disampaikan Marek, apakah ada yang ingin ditanyakan? Bisa mengaktifkan mikrofonnya, nanti akan diterjemahkan oleh interpreter, atau bisa juga diketik melalui chat box. apakah ada yang ingin ditanyakan Bapak Ibu terkait gambaran workshop kita selama 5 hari ke depan? Ya, baik, jika tidak ada, kita bisa lanjut ke agenda yang berikutnya. Sebelum kita melanjutkan ke agenda yang berikutnya, Bapak Ibu yang belum mendapatkan informasi terkait dengan username dan akun untuk DHIS 2 dapat mengkomunikasikan melalui chat box. Nanti akan kami kirimkan username dan password-nya melalui private chat. Kemudian bagi Bapak Ibu yang masih memiliki kendala dalam mengaktifkan interpretation dalam bahasa Indonesia ataupun bahasa Inggris, dapat dikomunikasikan juga melalui chat box. Jika tidak muncul opsi bahasa Indonesia, kemungkinan dapat terjadi karena belum terupdate Zoom-nya, jadi mungkin dapat diupdate terlebih dahulu ke versi yang paling akhir agar muncul opsi interpretasi bahasa Indonesia maupun bahasa Inggris. Ya, baik Bapak Ibu, untuk agenda selanjutnya adalah demonstrasi mengenai navigasi DHIS 2 yang akan disampaikan oleh tim HQ oleh Thomas. Thomas, the next session is the DHIS 2 demonstration.
Thank you everyone, and hello, welcome to this analysis workshop. So I will showcase or demonstrate the walkthrough the DHIS2 dashboards, which we prepared for you. I will now share my screen. Okay, so basically, when you open tbhistoric.org, as Marek showed you, you will end up on the sign-in page, login page, where you use the name of your province as the login, and the password is the same for everyone. It's workshop 20, then 2, and then star. And I don't know if you will manage, but try to do it with me, that we can gather the questions during the demonstration, and I can answer it in the end. So when you log in, you will end up on the dashboard, which brings you to your province. We have 7 dashboards. Out of those, we have 6 dashboards with annual data. They have in brackets written annual. Then we have 4 dashboards which are based on your quarterly data. These are notifications, and these are percentages and ratios, treatment outcomes, and TB HIV. And then we have the last dashboard, which is with reference material. It's the number 7. This 7 dashboard, it has all the relevant reference material, which is in English, but it could be ultimately translated to Indonesian language, and could be one of the way how the NTP could share with you at the subnational level the latest guidance and national policies and so far. So to ease the navigation through the dashboards and through the exercises, we have coded all the dashboard items with specific codes. TBC goes for chart, and it's numbered based on the exercises. Then we have TBM, which goes for map. And then we have TBT, which goes for table. So all those codes are reflected in the exercise book and its exercises to ease you the navigation through the system. Each of the dashboard is consisting of dashboard items. Some of them are charts over time. Some of them are charts specifically for the latest quarter or the latest year. Some of them are comparison over the years, in not in the as a trend line, but as a lines above each other, that you can see the changes over time, like here for the sex age disaggregation. Some of them somewhere we used map to display the indicator, and some for the overview. For some we still use the table. We'll switch to the annual view, where we have it's the copy of the indicators from the quarterly dashboard. It just displays the data on annual basis. So each of the dashboard item is based on several or few, depends on indicators, which are displayed below the chart. So for example, here we have the number of TB cases notified divided by new and relapse, or bacteriologically confirmed or clinically diagnosed, and so forth. So pay attention when you are looking at the different dashboard items that you are looking at the one you need. So for example, when we go here, I just want to show you. So we have some color codings. It's basically only on the dashboard number 3, where the red areas are out of the range. So this is based on the standard and benchmark settings, which you know from the EPI review. And when you look at the maps, some of the maps may be blank. We'll go here to show it, to outcomes. And this means that there are no data. So if you see that not all the districts are, actually here you have all the districts, but if you don't have the map and you think that there is missing a piece of your province, missing district, it means there is no data. So I won't go through each of the dashboard item and through each of the indicator in details, because it will be described by my colleagues during their respective presentation tomorrow and every day after that. So I will just show you the basic functions of the system. And I hope that you will, after the finish of my demonstration, you will understand how to navigate yourself through the dashboards. So as Marek said, by default, when you log in, you will end up seeing all the dashboards filtered by the province level. So when you click here, add a filter, you have period, you have organization unit, and then other filters. We will be focusing during our exercises this week only on the filter which says organization unit. This filter allows you to change the view of the dashboard to your district of interest. So for example, I don't want to see the province anymore. I want to see this particular province, district. So you select this one and the dashboard will update with the data only for this respective district. And the map will change too. So all the other filters, it will be relevant for you as well, but only later when you will have the case-based data. So I can show you later, for example, for Bali, where we have the data on the facility level, based on the facility level, we can use the facility type, ownership, and TB diagnosis service group as a disaggregation. But even later, when you will have the data based on your SIT ITB, so meaning case-based data, you will enter to DHIS2, you will be able to disaggregate it easily here by sex and age. So just to repeat again, through this week, we will be using the filter only for the organization unit. How to download the picture of the respective dashboard item or the full screen. So there are several ways. The easiest one is to use the snipping tool, as Mark described in his presentation. I will show you another way how to do it. That basically it works for map and for the chart. So when you click here, view in visualizer app, it will bring you to this very same chart in the specific app, which is called visualizer. Here you can click on download and you download it as an image. You click on that and it brings you to the chart. It's better quality than from the snipping tool, but it's not necessary. I'm just showing it as a optional. And then right click and copy image and you can paste it directly to your presentation or to the Word document. For the map, it works similar way. Unfortunately, it's not the same, but I will show you. So the same, you click on view map in the map app. And you click on download. You can choose here where you want to have the legend. So now it's in the right bottom corner, or you can have it on the top. And you can choose to display the name of the respective map or not. Then you download it and it downloads to your standard or default folder for downloads. And from there you need to open it and bring it to your presentation or to your Word document where you write the report. So now we will move to the subnational level data, because the dashboard, it allows you to filter to the subnational level data, but it doesn't allow you to compare the data side by side. For this specific exercise, we will be using the report function. It's called reports. You click, you use the standard report, and there is only one option. There is only one choice. You click on that, you click create, and then you need to click on your province that it goes orange. You can see that it will, the analysis will include all those districts. But in order to create it, it needs to be orange. Then you click continue, and then you can choose from the standard charts, which most of them are displayed on the dashboard, which one you would like to compare side by side by district on the district level. So we can start with, for example, with the TB case notification rate. We select the respective chart, and here we can choose how many of those charts will be next to each other. Just to say, here it depends as well on the resolution of your screen. So even if you put 4 and you have a low resolution of your screen, it may display only 2. So to be on safe side, you can always go for 2. You can try on your own. I can try 4 and generate. I click generate, and it displays all the districts in the Aceh province side by side. So this is as well a quite nice tool for the data validation. So you can see if the trends are still, or are there any peaks, or maybe missing data, like here in 2018. So this can help you to identify some issues, or just simply compare the district one to each other if there are any inconsistencies. So you can basically choose another one, just going back to here, and we can display the notification cases, and you generate a new one. So this is the number of cases per district. So for example, we can then go back to the dashboard and explore this part, this particular district. So there is a small tip that you can simply just duplicate your table. You don't need to go always back like this to your dashboard and start over. You can keep this one open, duplicate your tab, and open, for example, open the reports here. Do it a bit faster here. And then you can just switch back to the standard dashboard, and here we can filter to the, which one was it? We wanted to look, banner. And here we can filter and display the data for banner. So it's just small tip that you can duplicate the the tabs. You don't need to always go back and forth. Yeah, so we can see here that there are missing data for this period. Okay, so let's continue. Here, just to show, if you want to go back where you started, you can click on this part, and it will basically restart, refresh all the filters. As well, to mention that when you set the filter for notifications, as I did, I'll do it again. You choose organization unit, you drill down, and again, you need to tick the one where you're interested in, you confirm. But when you move to another dashboard, this filter will be reset. Unfortunately, this is the way how it is. So you need to be careful and make sure when you look at particular district, you can duplicate, as I showed you before, that you don't need to restart, go over and over through the filter. Or you need to be careful and set the filter always when you change the dashboard. So now we will go to the data entry. So I will just change the view. I will be back.
Thomas, would you like to take some questions, if there are some questions, before you move on to data entry?
Sure, sure. If there are any questions at this moment.
There is something in the chat. There is one question in English in the chat, but perhaps there are other questions that Pasulis and the team would like to also translate or tell you. But there is something in the chat already. Just look.
Okay.
Okay. Let's take some questions on this first session then.
Ya, Bapak Ibu, apakah ada yang ingin ditanyakan sejauh ini terkait yang sudah didemonstrasikan oleh Thomas?
Mbak Atika, yang di chatting itu ada pertanyaan kah? Atau langsung dibacakan saja?
Thomas, there's question in chat box from DKI Jakarta. She asked, is it possible to display data label such as the number of cases in the DHIS dashboards?
Sorry, can you repeat once again?
Is it possible to display the data label such as the number of cases in dashboard so we can copy paste the graphic with the label on it?
With the like here that, wait, I will share my screen again.
Yes, it's about the data labels in the charts, Thomas. I think it's,
yes,
you can show it, yeah.
So yes, it's possible. Basically, by default, we turned it off, this functionality, because then the dashboards or the dashboard items itself, they look overcrowded. There is just too much of text. But yes, you can do it the same way how I was showing that you can download the picture. So I will do it again. So you click here on View in Visualizer app. And you go to Options. And here you have the first option is Show Values. And you update. And it displays the same chart with the values. And then you can download this very same one with the values on it.
Iya, Mbak Putri, apakah sudah cukup jelas cara untuk menampilkan data label? Apakah ada yang ingin ditanyakan lagi, Mbak Putri, dari DKI?
Oke, udah, thank you.
Baik, Bapak Ibu, apakah ada yang ingin bertanya lagi terkait dengan penggunaan navigasi dashboard di DHIS 2? Dapat mengaktifkan mikrofon atau dapat juga diketikkan di chat box.
Could we ask if everyone can access their own provincial data? Let's start with the most simple one. Can we just make sure that everyone has received the login information and they can access their data?
Ya, Bapak Ibu, apakah ada yang masih mengalami kendala dalam login ke dalam DHIS 2? Atau mungkin ada yang belum terinformasikan username dan password-nya dapat diinfokan di chat box? Atau mungkin ada yang terkendala tidak dapat login? Yeah, Thomas, I think we can continue.
Okay, so let's continue with the data entry. I would like that you understand how the data got in and what data you look at. I mean, Mark already described it a bit, so I'll just show you in a bit more detail. So you don't have access to this, but ultimately when you will have your own system, you will probably have access to this. So it's data entry app, and this works that you, on the left side, you have the organization unit of the country. As Mark mentioned, we based this data on the district level, except from for districts in Bali. So you select one, and I will just show you. So this is the standard quarterly TB reporting form, which is based on the 2013 WHO recording and reporting framework. It's, I'm sorry, it's in English, but just to showcase where the data are from. So this is from the Excel sheets and from your SITB aggregation. So ultimately, when you have your own DHIS2 in Indonesia, there are two ways how you can get data in. You can link it with the SITB. It means it will automatically populate these quarterly dashboards, quarterly forms, or you can load the data from the existing Excel files, or you can enter the data on the facility level manually. So you have three options, and all of them are quite straightforward. So just to, it depends on the workflow in the country. I'm not familiar with that, but it's always important to understand how the data get in. At the same time that all the analysis you are doing with the data can be only as accurate as the original data source. So if you will see that your data is not accurate, is not complete, not all the facilities in your district has reported, then you need to take this into account and when presenting the results. I hope, or I assume, that we have most of the facilities and data covered in DHIS2 or in TB Historic at this moment. But at the same time, if you see there are some gaps, please let us know, or let us know the NTP, and we can update the data. Just to mention or repeat what Marek said already, DHIS2, the beauty of the reporting is that when you enter the data on the facility level, it automatically aggregates the data to district level, to provincial level, and to the national level. There is no more manual counting. So it saves a lot of time, and it saves a lot of potential errors which are made by manual counting or by counting in Excel. So we have, this is the standard form for TB notification. Then we have the standard form for TB outcomes, which is empty now because it's for 2020. I can show you for the previous year. And then we have for the MDR outcomes and for MDR notifications. So this is just to showcase where the data came from, that it's your data based on the Excel sheets which were shared with me by the NTP team. And there is one more thing I wanted to show here, that when you click here, you can see who stored the data, when stored the data, and then when you click on the audit trail, you can see who did these changes. So it's nice tool how to as well on the supervision level, that the people who are responsible on for validating the data, they can see how the data were manipulated over time. So each of the values you can see over time what's the value and who entered it, and that here will be or would be potentially all the logs of the changes of the data of this particular variable, bacteriology confirmed new and relapse cases registered. You just to clarify, you don't, during the exercises, you won't be looking at this. It's just for your information for future when you will have your own system.
Mas, can I also add that the data entry forms currently are based on the global level guidance. That doesn't mean that if the country team has some specific additional data or slightly different data that they would like to connect, that we can also design those data entry forms accordingly. So what Thomas has shown you is essentially the minimum TB surveillance data that we at the global level at WHO are recommending to collect. Perhaps you have some more data that you are also collecting. We can definitely update the data entry forms according to the national recording and reporting form. So that's one thing to remember. So what you see here is TB Historic is a global tool. So we used it to support any country in the world. And in fact, we have data from many countries in the world, but that data is standard. It uses the global standards. When you take that over into a national server, for example, you can adjust it accordingly. And that goes not just for the data that you are entering, but it can also go for the time period you are entering. We're showing you here quarterly level data. Perhaps when you have fully implemented SITB, so that's your case-based system, perhaps you want to look at the data on a monthly basis. So you could even have, more frequent time periods that you're looking at. So the system itself is not limited in that sense. So you can, it's completely adaptable to the needs of the country. So you can change both the data that you're capturing according to your quarterly or according to your time-specific recording and reporting tools. And it can also change according to the period. So you can have more frequent report. So instead of every 3 months, perhaps you can have it every 1 month. Just to say that the system is not limited in that way. It can completely be adapted to the national needs. Over. Thomas, back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Babis. Yeah, just to echo this and what Marek as well said, please understand these dashboards, indicators, the data entry form as a baseline. Each country can then adapt it to own needs. So please just, again, what Marek said, during the week, explore the dashboards, explore the indicators, all the dashboard items, and think if it's enough for your needs, or you would need to slightly change it or compare it differently. So all this is possible. You can as well, I will just show you again, it won't be part of your exercise, but I will show it to you, that you can actually create your own chart. You can create your own dashboard and then share it. By default, it will be your own, so no one else will have access, but you can potentially share it with your colleagues. So in order, for example, we can look at the how to create the new chart. So we will open the data visualizer. And we want to first select the data we are interested in. So we have data type, we have indicators, or we have data elements. The rest is irrelevant at this moment. But to keep it simple, let's go just for indicators. And then we have 3 groups. We have MDR, we have case notifications, and treatment outcomes. So I want to look at the TB notification group, and I want to see bacteriologically confirmed cases. New and relapsed pulmonary bacteriologically confirmed cases. I'll put it here. I'll update. Then I want to change the period. I will go, they are relative periods, but I want to go to fixed period. I want to just see the last year, 2019. So I double click, it goes here, and I remove this one. I'm doing it quickly because I don't want that people spend time on it. Please feel free to do so. But in order to complete the exercises, there is no need to do this for you. It's all based on the standard dashboard item.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I want to change the organization unit. I will go just for Bali. And I will unselect Indonesia, Bali, and I will go just for the 4 districts where we have the data on the facility level. And I will add the disaggregation by public and private. Now I need to move it here. Okay. And I can display my own chart, or I can create my own chart, which is looking at the 4 districts in Bali. And I have the bacteriologically confirmed cases divided by private and public contribution. Then I can save it. I click save, I give it a name. So it's, I will put just test, but you can put whatever you need and you save it. Then when I go back to the dashboard, and as well to mention that whatever you create, whatever chart you create, it will become available for the report. So remember, I was showing you the standard report function. So here I have different accounts. I have the access to the whole Indonesia. But if I go here, I will go to Bali. and I have my test here, down here. That's the chart I created. I should be able to display the data by each district and to show the very same thing. So imagine when you have all this data disaggregated or on the facility level, you can do this for each of your districts. So you can see the public-private mix in all across all districts. Then just again to show, if you have time, please feel free to play with that, but it's not necessary for the exercises. If you want to create your own dashboard, you can put name, and here you select what kind of items you want to put. So this is the test we have just created. You can edit, or you can create your own maps, which will be the next part of my demonstration. But you can add whatever you need or you are missing at this moment on the standard dashboards. You save, and you have your own. It will appear here. So you will have your own personal dashboard, which you can then share with your colleagues. I can share it with Acek. This is my user called Acek, but imagine that you have your own system, so you will ultimately find your own name or the name of your colleague. You can share it with him, and I won't do it because it would appear there, but then he would have access to the chart and to the dashboard you have created. So it's as well, it's a nice feature. If you have a small team, you can create your own dashboard, your own items, and it won't be disturbing others who are not interested in your theory, for example. Or when you have your internal discussion, you agree this is something important to show to the national level, you can just add them. You can share this very same dashboard. You can add comments and so far and share it with them online. Okay. Any questions at this point? And the next part will be a demonstration how to work with the maps.
Ya, Bapak Ibu, sampai di sini apakah ada yang ingin bertanya? Jika ada yang kurang jelas atau ada yang perlu diulang, dapat dikomunikasikan dengan mengaktifkan mikrofon atau bertanya melalui chat box.
Okay, should I continue or do we have some questions?
Sure, Thomas, we can continue, I think.
Okay. So, in order to display the map, I will just, because I prepared already something.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
I'm Kadek Mulyawan from West Nusa Tenggara. Excuse me, can you explain how to get data from SCTB or SCTT at DHIS2, or when we open the application DHIS2, we have the same data like SCTT or SCTB.
Yes, so this needs to be discussed in details how to do it with your NTP IT team, because there are several ways. There is a way that basically the SITB will aggregate the data itself, and then it will send the aggregated data, which will be matching the aggregated forms in the DHIS2. So as Bob mentioned, you can do this transfer every week, every day, every month, but the data will be sent from SITT through the web API to the DHIS2 and will be matched on the variables. So you need to create the variable which will match it. For example, this new bacteriological confirmed cases, and it needs to be matched with the SITB variable. So it's a one way. Then another way is that you could import as well the case-based data, but it would become more difficult because you would have to create basically replicate the case-based system in DHIS2, that you can match all the variables for each TB case from SITB to DHIS2. So I think this could be the next step in a couple of years. At this moment, I would focus on the aggregated data, and or actually you could as well just another option. The third option would be that you disaggregate those standard forms. You would disaggregate it in the way that it reflects as much as possible the case-based system. So you could think of disaggregating all this data by sex and age, by risk categories, and all of this, because it would be automatically fed from the SITB. But then there's the only danger is that if the SITB doesn't have the 100% coverage, then the other districts without using where the SITB is not used, they would have to fill all this data manually. So there needs to be discussion, there needs to be a strategy how to bring the data in. But the very simple first step I believe you should do is to aggregate the data in SITB and match it to the forms in DHIS2, and the data would be pushed from SITB to DHIS2 every month, for example. That's why I think it's important what Marek said, that those exercises which we are presenting this week should be understood as the baseline, that you learn how to work with the data, how to understand the different indicators, how to look differently on the numbers or at the percentages, and to think what additional data is missing for the analysis you would like to do. So it could be one of the outcomes as well in the end of this week, just to give us feedback or more for your national team, what additional items should appear on the dashboards that it reflects the data from the SITB. Sorry, it was a bit long answer, but I wanted to give you the full picture.
Thomas?
Yes?
May I to have to answer Pak Kadek?
Mm-hmm.
Ya, Pak Kadek, pada saat ini ya bahwa data-data itu kita kirimkan ke WHO Geneva yang sudah sesuai dengan format yang ada ya. Kenapa kita belum melakukan link dengan SITB? Karena kita tahu bahwa banyak sumber data TB yang dikumpulkan ya dari SITT, SITB maupun seperti integrasi sama di Wifi TB. Nah, makanya untuk kedepannya mungkin kita akan mencoba menjadikan satu data yang ada di SITB itu sehingga nanti bisa nge-link dengan DHIS2 ini, Mbak. Itu.
Oke, Pak Tio, berarti Pak Tio, berarti data untuk yang ini kan kita masih ngelihat TBSO aja. Apakah juga mengakomodir untuk TBRO itu? Karena kan yang mesti ngambil di ETB Manager kan. Kalau sekarang di 2020 kita menggunakan SITB. Bagaimana dengan data-data yang ada di ETB Manager itu? Apakah sudah terakomodir di DHS, di DHIS 2 ini?
Iya, sudah Pak.
Sudah semua
jadi kan
ya?
Selama ini jadi kita diberikan format dari teman-teman WHO itu mulai dari TB sensitif, kemudian TB resisten, TB HIV, kemudian PPNH. Jadi semuanya sudah tercover di sini Pak Kadek. All ya.
Thank you Mas Tio yang gagah.
Ya. Oke. Oke, Thomas, please.
Should I continue or we have more questions?
Yes, please continue, Thomas.
Okay. So yes, that's just to add. Yes, that's correct. The data in TB historic were sent to us by the NTP team in the Excel format. Okay, so let's look at the maps. I will just change the screen. I'll be back. Okay, so here I wanted to show that with the data on the facility level, you don't need to think about case-based data, but with the data on facility level, what you can do, and that each facility has the GPS coordinates. So we have, just repeat, we have the 4 districts in Bali province, and we have the option to disaggregate the data by the facility type. So whether it's clinic, hospital, or public health center. Then we have the option to disaggregate the data by the ownership of the facility. So if it's public or private, then we can display as well the gene expert sites. And you could as well think what additional disaggregation or grouping of the facilities you would like to see in the DHIS2. So in order to create such a map, you have the option to add multiple layers. So here on the left corner, upper corner, you click on add, and sorry, I was logged out. And you choose, you have the maps you can choose. So we can start that we will display the boundaries. So we go to Bali, and we actually want to display the boundaries only for the 4 districts where we have the data. So we have the boundaries of the 4 districts. Then I want to add another layer, and I want to display the facilities. So I go here, I add layer, I go to facilities, and I want to display all the facilities with expert. So it's under the TB diagnostic service. There are the facilities with the expert machine. So I go back, I need to choose again the, now I can select Bali, and okay, I need to select Bali and didn't. Okay. And here are the facilities with the gene expert, but I don't want to display this way. So you can always the layers you can hide them or display them. I'll remove this one. I'll leave this one. So now I will load or add the thematic layer, and I want to display the case notification, and I want to display the bacteriological confirmed cases. So I choose the indicator, I choose that I want to display the last year, and then I want to display the Bali. So it shows you like this because we want to do it on admin 2. Then it just to see. So here when you're changing the levels, it displays the data on lower and lower level. So just again, admin 3, admin 2 corresponds the district, admin 1 corresponds the province, admin 2 corresponds to district, and admin 3 corresponds to facility. So now we can see all the facility level data from these 4 districts. What I can do here is that I can add a filter. And I want to display only the private. So here, this map for new and relapse bacteriological confirmed cases in 2019 reported by the private facilities. For example, I want to compare with the public. So I can do the very same map. For 2019. I go to Bali. And I want to display it for public. So now I have one layer with another. Now I have 3 layers displayed together. I can, by clicking on this toggle visibility, I can turn it on and off. So you can see the number of facilities reporting how many cases of bacteriologically confirmed. You can as well move the layers from each other. I will show you how. So I want to display actually this very same indicator on the district level. I'm into this district. So now it shows me this. It's not clear and it's not what I want to see, but I can because, for example, I have the map with the district level on the top. As I have it here on the top, it's on the top here. So I cannot even click and see how many cases is in this facility. So I can drag and drop this map. I will put it as my first layer. Now I am able to see from, for example, on from 142 cases reported in 2019 in Tabanan district, this facility contribute by 3 cases, this facility by 1 case. And you can do this. You can then see only what's the contribution to 142 cases by the private sector. Not much. There are 2 private hospitals and they're contributing that much. So this is the way how you can look at the data. And one additional thing is that you can actually display all these data in the table format, that it can help you to read the numbers. So you have here the values for each district. Actually, I can just reduce this to our 4 districts, not to display all. And here it shows the numbers per district. It's just the way how you can as well, if you have, for example, if you would have here 100 facilities, you can just give it a range and it will display you the facilities with from 100 to 200 cases, which are not there. But yeah, you can play with it this way, or you can put the values. Also what's here, 180. So it can then it highlights only the one which has this value. Okay. This is the way how you can disaggregate it on the maps. You can as well save this file. You can save it. Can test map. You can print it. You can download it, as I was showing before, with this or without this. And when you save it, you can potentially add it to your dashboard. And as we have these groups, which are now labeled for this for districts, we can actually do the same grouping or disaggregation by groups on the dashboard itself. So if I duplicate this and I go back to the dashboard, now I have all the countries, but so I'll quickly drill down to Indonesia. And then I can add additional filter. I can do the facility type. For example, I want to see, it's just for you to imagine what you can do with the data later on. Again, it's not for this week, for the exercises you will be doing, but just to showcase what's the range of the different exercises you can do. So you can each dashboard you would be ultimately able to filter by the facility type. So for example, I would like to see what's the contribution of prisons in Indonesia to the numbers of TB, and it displays me very quickly aggregated numbers for all prisons. As we have only, I think there are 2 or 3 in the 4 districts in Bali, it displays the limited amount of data. But ultimately, you can when you would put all information into the system on the facility level, it would filter all prisons in Indonesia, or you can again limit it to lower level. You can do here, or even you can go down to district level and so forth. So back to the map. I think this, what would be nice if during this week the NTP team could have a look at the facility level data and try to do the exercises using this facility level data, and then we could have a discussion on what they find useful and what could be explored more. Or maybe on Friday we could do one more session where I could show a bit more data handling in the map. Okay, that's all. Do you have any questions?
Yes, sorry, Thomas. Maybe just to interrupt. As we mentioned, we only have data until the health facility level for these 4 districts, right? So I think only Bali can access this data.
Yes.
Level.
Yes.
So if we want
Thomas,
to perform some kind of analysis,
if it's in the chat, please.
Sorry, Marek, what you were saying?
I was just, I didn't actually hear what the question was, so I'm not sure what you were saying yes to. So if you...
Okay, yes. Thanks. The question was that, just to confirm that the facility level data is only for 4 districts in the Bali province. So yes, we have the facility level data only for the 4 districts in the Bali province.
So maybe what I want to ask is perhaps if only Bali has access to the health facility data, and for the other participants from different provinces.
We actually have an hour together left, so I think we should try to take advantage of this as much as possible. My suggestion is that that all of the participants log on. I think we already checked that, but if they can log on to their DHIS2 system and try to generate a report. I mean, I think going through the dashboards is quite self-explanatory, but for every of the exercises, you'll also have to generate a report, which takes a couple more steps to do, a couple more clicks in DHIS2 to get to it. So it would be good if we can practice that together now, make sure we can all get to it, and then we'll be set up for the exercises. And in the meantime, we're still here for this time to help you with any issues you might have or any questions you might have, which some questions might not be obvious to you now, but once you start looking at the system, you might have some questions coming up. So we can take the 1 hour now to practice doing a report and answer any questions that come up for that. Maybe before we try that, Tomasz, can you just show us one more time how to create a report, and then we'll ask the participants to try to replicate it themselves? Thanks.
Okay, sure. There's just one more thing for the map I wanted to show, that by adding facilities, you can, a facility layer, you can basically show all the expert sites across the 4 districts. And you can see, for example, that there are 3 facilities with expert, which are not reporting any of bacteriologically confirmed case. They didn't report any single case in 2019. So that would be something to explore. Is it just the lab and they're actually not reporting, or what's going on there? If it's health facility, if it's actually we can add more. We can explore what is this facility, and then you should ask the question at the facility why they didn't report any single bacteriologically confirmed case when they have the expert. So just, I can show one more, we can add one more layer. We can put facility type. We will go to Indonesia, to Bali, and we will display, for example, hospitals. Okay, so it basically goes of each of the layers, so you can see the it's not displaying the data, it's just displaying the facilities which are grouped in as hospitals. So you can and now we can display the expert machine, so it's not hospital but something else. So just wanted to say this, that it's important or interesting to see actually when you have the gene expert site and it's not reporting any bacteriologically confirmed cases. Okay, so I will go back to the report as Mark asked.
So Thomas, while you're going back to the report, just to repeat that there are 2 objectives to this demonstration. The first one is for Thomas to show you some of the key features of the dashboards that you will be using throughout this week. The second one is to also show you some of the additional functionality that DHIS2 has, so that together as a team, we can make a decision about whether this is something of interest to you. For example, all this work around maps, so that we understand if we need to put additional efforts into preparing the system to be doing additional analysis and additional work for you. Okay, so I think it's important for all the provincial and district teams to be keeping that in mind. Even if you do not have access at the moment to health facility level data, it's important that you keep it in mind, and it's important that you give comments to your national team about whether you will find that useful potentially or not. Because what we can do is we can say, okay, perhaps all we're interested in is just what we have here at the moment. Perhaps you will decide you don't want health facility level data, in which case we stop the effort. But if we do decide to upload data of the health facility level, because that is a bit of work that needs to be done, then in fact we need to understand if the provincial teams, if the district teams are going to use that data. Do you see what I mean? So 2 clear objectives for this session, and please keep that in mind throughout this week. 1, to understand the functionalities of the system that you will use this week for your exercises, and 2, to understand what more the system can do, and decide and communicate with your national team if you are indeed interested in us building the system more for you to use it with all that additional functionality. Over. Thomas, back to you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So when we go back to the report, so just again, I will repeat, we have by default, the dashboards are visualized on the level you have access to. So for most of you, it's the provincial level. I'm now using the account which has access to the Indonesia level. But just to repeat, it will display the data on its level by default. So on the provincial level or for you. Actually, I will just log as the province that it's clear. So it will be displaying the data on the for all the dashboard items on the provincial level. You can drill down to the district level using the filter. So you can display only this, let's say Barat. Then it will change the data on the dashboard only for the one particular district. If you want to compare the districts side by side, because here you can actually add more districts, but it just aggregates the data together. So be careful when you're using the filter that you have selected the layers you want, or the province or the district you are interested in, that you don't select the province and the district level at the same time, which is possible. So just to show, when you select these first 3 districts, it will show the data, but remember, it aggregates the data. It doesn't compare the data. So it's all the data on the map. You can see it compared actually, but on all the charts or tables, the data are aggregated. So if you want to compare the districts side by side, we will be using the report function. It's this green pie here. And we create, so again, sorry, I will go back one step back. So you click on standard report. This step, how to do the report, is described in the exercise book. You create, and once you do it, you don't need to repeat these steps anymore. So just make sure that the text is orange, you select it. If you unselect, it becomes black. But when you select it, it becomes orange. This is important. If you don't select it, it won't display the data. And we can just display the population data. So here are all the charts, the standard charts, plus potentially your own charts. So maybe think as well how to code them. You can code it as a with the province name at the beginning, or your name. You select how many of them you want to see next to each other, and you display it. So, as I said at the beginning, you don't need to replicate all those steps. I would recommend that you keep this open, the report function, and you duplicate the tab. And you can go by clicking here on the icon. You can go back to the dashboard, work on the provincial level. If you need to go back to compare something on the subnational level, you just go back to the original tab and you just change the indicator you're interested in or the chart. So now I want to display the cases, the number of cases. So you don't need to replicate all the steps how to get to create the new report. And then you go here, and again, you can duplicate. And here you can set the filter to this district only. So I'm displaying this chart, this dashboard is displaying this one. So again, you don't need to, if you're doing the exercise for this particular district which you're interested in, you can keep it open, and then you can go back to the original dashboard and keep working here and just switching between the different tabs that you don't need to go over and over through the same exercise to create the report or the new chart and so forth. So can we ask if it's clear to all participants how to create this subnational side-by-side comparison of the districts? Or are there any questions? Should I repeat it once again?
Or we should ask people to try and do it, Thomas.
Yeah, or ideally if everyone can try to do it.
Ya, baik Bapak Ibu, apakah ada yang ingin ditanyakan untuk men-generate report untuk membandingkan data dari masing-masing kapkota? Jika ada yang ingin ditanyakan atau ada yang perlu diulang, silakan diaktifkan mikrofonnya. Or Thomas,
we're also going to have written notes step-by-step that we'll upload to the Dropbox so that you can have the instructions next to you when you do the exercises on how to generate these reports. But if you have any questions or if you'd like us to repeat anything, we can do this now. But it would also be good if you can practice trying to do this yourself now, and we can clarify any questions that might come up that way.
Ya, Bapak Ibu, untuk modul dan guideline dari DHIS 2 ini dapat di-download di link bit.ly/materi/WS-TB20 sesuai yang sudah kami sampaikan di chat box, bisa diklik. Di sana ada guideline cara-cara navigasi DHIS 2. Mungkin untuk saat ini, untuk melihat apakah sudah dipahami apa yang disampaikan Thomas, kita bisa meminta perwakilan provinsi untuk praktik langsung. Bagaimana Pak Tio?
Ya, Mbak Tika, silakan. Silakan. Ya.
Thomas, can we choose one province to share their screen and practice how to generate this report?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Yeah, let's try to do it if we have any volunteers. I will be sharing my screen now.
Ya, Bapak Ibu, apakah ada yang ingin volunteer untuk share screen dan mempraktikkan cara navigasi di DHIS, terutama untuk mengenerate laporan kap kota seperti yang telah ditunjukkan oleh Thomas? Apakah ada yang ingin volunteer?
Bapak Ibu, siapa yang mau jadi volunteer? Silakan. Dari Bali. Ada Bu Arniti atau Pak Kadek?
Atau mungkin Pak Tio, kita bisa tunjuk salah satu provinsi ya Pak?
Boleh deh, iya.
Dari NTB, apakah bersedia untuk share screen dan mempraktikkan untuk navigasi DHIS? Dari NTB ada Bu Anita, kemudian Pak Kadekmul, Pak Zainul.
Ayo Bapak Ibu dari NTB, nanti dibantu.
Pak Zainul, Bu Anita, Pak Kadekmul, apakah bisa share screen untuk praktik langsung? Nanti dibantu oleh tim fasilitator apabila memiliki kendala. Atau dari Sulawesi Utara, di sini ada Bu Andriani dan Ibu Rosni.
Bu Rosni.
Mari Bu.
I think we
Jangan
might have to
malu-malu
grant
untuk
access
belajar ya.
to be
Iya.
able to share the screens. So if we have
Yes,
one
Mara.
person who will volunteer, Jonathan
Yes,
can.
we're finding for a volunteer right now. So yeah, just a few minutes. Ayo, gimana Bapak Ibu? Ada yang mau volunteer? Nggak apa-apa, latihan Bu, nggak masalah. Karena software ya, kita kan kalau misalnya software itu gimana bisa khatamnya kalau kita sering make ya. Silahkan.
Atau dari DKI ada Dr. Budi, Bu Antik, Mbak Putri.
Dr. Budi.
Oh ini Bu Rosni sudah share screen.
Oke.
Oh sudah share screen. Oke.
Ya silakan Bu Rosni.
Pakai bahasa Indonesia juga nggak apa-apa Bu.
Ya nanti ditranslate ya, bisa. Pakai bahasa Indonesia juga nggak apa-apa. Bisa diaktifkan mungkin mic-nya ya, Bu.
Bu Rosni bisa diaktifkan mungkin mikrofonnya.
This is also good practice because during the exercises, when we're working together, we're going to ask some of the participants to share their screen and feedback some of the answers that they got for the exercises. So the process that we're doing right now with the sharing screen from some of the provinces is exactly what we're going to be doing throughout the exercises as well. Over.
Bu Rosni, mic-nya dibuka dulu, di-unmute dulu, boleh?
Maybe he doesn't need to speak. We can just see what he's doing.
Iya. Mbak Tika?
Iya, Pak Tio. Bu Rosni, apakah ada kendala? Bisa di-unmute mikrofonnya untuk kami bantu? Oh ya, sepertinya
Ya.
terdapat kendala. Bagaimana Pak, kita mau lanjut materi dulu atau mau menunjuk provinsi lain untuk share screen?
Satu lagi deh, boleh. Saya lihat ada Bu Irvanita itu, Sulteng. Bu Nita.
Bu Irvanita dari Sulteng. Bu Nita, apakah bersedia untuk share screen?
Mungkin masih malu-malu kali ya. Iya. Ini aku lihat dari Pelampung nih, ada Bu Risma nih. Bu Risma. Bu Risma.
Maybe we can ask the NTP team, someone from the NTP to do it, to motivate others.
Atau di sini juga ada dari partner Pak, dari YKI dan TBPS. Mungkin ada yang bersedia volunteer untuk share screen?
Ya, silakan.
Ada Mbak Rini, ada Pak Tiar.
Ya, silakan Mbak Rini. Boleh bantu share screen Mbak Rini atau Pak Tiar? Halo Mbak Rini.
Halo Pak Tio.
Boleh ini mempraktekkan kah Mbak?
Boleh.
Boleh, silakan Mbak. Ya.
Oke.
Ya, silakan Mbak.
Ya. Yang pertama, saya tadi masuk sebagai login dari Aceh, mengikuti tampilan yang awal. Di sini kita bisa lihat indikator. Contoh misalnya saya ambil dari notifikasi kasus. Terus kemudian kita bisa lihat juga kalau seandainya kita mau bandingkan dengan beberapa organisasi, beberapa distrik. Cuman kalau di sini, kalau kita bandingin dengan distrik yang lain, tabelnya itu, nah yang di sini tuh cuman hanya bisa Acehnya aja, tapi nggak bisa ke sub distrik yang lain. Kemudian kalau seandainya dipindahkan juga, bikin report yang dibedakan tadi berdasarkan distrik level ya, itu juga nggak jalan. Saya nggak tahu deh apakah mungkin ini hanya karena datanya atau memang karena beda ini ya, beda usernya ya.
Sama Mbak Rini, aku tadi tes juga seperti itu persis.
Iya, jadi kalau mau dipindahin ke dibikin kayak tadi tuh kayak masih belum bisa berhasil.
Mbak Rini, boleh dicoba lagi ke filter?
Kemudian kan masuk
di
ke
organisasi
unit
ya.
Nanti kalau diklik dia nggak keluar pilihan.
Coba ke segitiga yang sebelah kiri, di sebelah tik ada segitiga warna abu-abu, ya itu diklik coba.
Oke. Misalnya ada 3 distrik ya. Oh iya Mbak.
Can I comment?
Yeah.
So, for example, now that was what I was saying, that you need to be careful what you are selecting in the filter, because now you're mixing the district level data and aggregating them with the province level data. You can see now in the first chart on the top, you have Aceh Province, Aceh Barat, Aceh Barat Daya, and Aceh Besar. So all these now you aggregated together on the dashboard. So be careful what you are selecting with the filter. So you need to unselect the province. Yes, exactly. Now you are aggregating the 3 districts. Now the data which are displayed on the dashboards are for those 3 districts. They are aggregated together. But if you want to compare them side by side, you need to go to the menu and to select the report function. And the report, yes. Standard report, yes. Correct. Select. No, just this. Stay on, select that it's orange, and then you can continue.
You mean
dapatkan laporan.
Laporan.
Laporan, voilà. And here you select the chart or the indicator you're interested in. They're all coded and it corresponds to each exercise in the exercise book. So you can just select the population, whatever you want. Here you choose the number, the drop down, it's how many of them you display per row. So you can put 4, 3, you can see, and generate. Okay.
So
now you have your population over time from 2010 to 2020 in each of the districts in Aceh province, displayed in one window. Do you see that? And then just to show you, if you go back to graphs per row on top, yeah, click 1 just so you see how it changes. And generate. And then now you have, and see it's a bit long, so you can change how the graph looks just by changing the number of graphs you present per row. So you can pick the one that you think is most appropriate.
it possible if we would like to see the graph
exactly.
in one picture?
And let's look at another indicator. So to change the indicators, you go back to the drop-down list, and let's look at the notifications. There you are.
Marek, there was a question by someone if it's possible to look at that in one picture. Can we try the print version just to see what it looks like? Yeah.
It doesn't work nicely. You need to again use ideally the snip tool, or
but what if you want all of the districts, for example? So it's perhaps we can walk them through what the options are to have all of the districts in one province.
The thing with the print is that it displays or it prints everything in one document, but the one per row. It ignores the setting for some.
Okay, so then our advice to people, if they want to do that, is to try and do graphs per row, 4 graphs per row.
Yes.
And then use the snipping tool to get all of the multiple times to get all of the districts from one province. Is that our advice?
Yes, yes, because even if you think that we would generate it as one file, it would be just too big for the presentation or for the report, because usually you have 15, 20 and more districts in one province, and it's just too big. It covers more than one page. So even for this reason, I think it's better to do this, that you basically print screen or a snip line, one row.
Okay.
You have to click generate if you want to change the number of graphs. Yes. There you are.
May I have a question?
Yes.
Yes, I would like to know how if I want to know the total number of the notification in one province. Let's say this is in the Aceh province.
Okay, I think that was good.
So I want to compare Aceh Barat with the Aceh Barat
To see
Daya
if someone
in
else
one
can also
picture.
show it.
Marek, there is someone talking, sorry.
Oh, really? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, please continue.
So my question is, how if I want to know the total number that notified in one provinces, and I would like to compare in one picture the Aceh Barat with the Aceh Barat Daya. Is it possible?
So you want to compare in one picture the numbers from the province and district?
No, from district with the district. So we can know the comparison in one picture.
That's what
the
we
total
do now.
notification.
That's what we do now, using the
No.
report. That you have.
I mean, in one picture, in one graph, you know.
In one graph.
Yes.
Okay, okay, I understand. Yes, so this is the same. You can do this on the dashboard, but then I think the picture will become overcrowded because you will have 30 lines on one.
I only will need the total notification.
Yes, but then you will have 20 different districts in one chart, so you will have 20 different lines with the total numbers.
I think what Mastian wants to ask is he wants to select just, for example, 2 districts, Thomas. So, for example, Aceh Barat and Aceh Barat Daya. Hello.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Then you can do this. You can, but you need to create your own chart. You can do it. Yes, but you need to create your own chart.
And if
maybe is it possible for you to show it, perhaps maybe in the dashboard or also in the report? Is it possible, Thomas? just to give an idea.
Okay.
Yeah. While Thomas is preparing, can I just say, so the reason why we also need to remember what is the purpose of this comparison, right? If you want to show all of the data in the province, okay, you don't necessarily need to show all of the districts. If you do and you have too many districts for presentation purposes, it will be difficult to put everything on one slide, for example. But I think the primary purpose of this, when you're comparing across districts, is to understand also, well, the share of the overall, for example, case notifications that one district contributes to the provincial data, but also, and more importantly, it's an opportunity to compare across the subnational levels. And case notifications is one example, but there are other things that, for example, treatment success. You would like to see whether the treatment success is consistent across the many districts in your province, or identify the districts that have very high treatment success with the districts that have low treatment success, so that you can try and correct those things. So really, it is the comparison. What is important here is to pick out of the indicators that you're looking at, is to pick at the different districts in your province to make the point, perhaps to see the minimum and the maximum values, perhaps to see, who are the good performers or who are the less good performers. So really, you need to have an idea in mind about putting together a graph. So this report allows you to do that. In the case of Indonesia, because there are so many districts in provinces, okay, it's useful, of course, to look at all the districts, but it might get a little bit complicated for the reader. So you need to think of smart ways, because you have too many districts. So you need to think of smart ways to present the results like that. So perhaps you can present the minimum and the maximum value, and then just describe using some text what's happening in between. It would be a bit too busy to have, for example, a slide, to have graphs from 30 districts on one slide. So you need to think about smart ways to present the data and what the data tell you. Over.
Okay, so I can share my screen, and I will show you. So something like this you would like to see. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you. So how can you explain to us how to generate this report?
Yes, so you can start from notifications. So by default, it's just zoom in. Okay. You can start from existing charts, which you open. Okay, I'll restart totally. So we start here. And we want to look at this. Just remember, there are 4 indicators here compared, but we want to compare now one indicator with multiple districts, across multiple districts. So we can go here. And now we have the standard chart displaying 4 indicators. We don't want 4 indicators, so we need to remove these trees. We can have, if you want to compare the districts, you can have only 1 indicator displayed. So we will choose this number of cases notified. So we have across all the years number for the province. The period we don't need to change, but organization unit we want to change. We want to choose the districts. Let's choose these 3 districts. Now it automatically aggregates it. If you want to display it in different way, you need to switch, because you want to have the series as the 3 organization unit and the data will be the filter. You update the chart and it displays the data per district. Green is Barat, blue is Baradia, and red is Besar. So again, we can show the values and we can even put a target line. We can say that estimation is that we should have 500 cases. It doesn't. Sorry. Here, 500. Estimation. And here we have our estimation line. So here we were almost there, for example. I'm just improvising, but that's what you can do as well. For example, if you identify using the report function, you will identify there are 2 interesting districts to look at. Then you can use this this chart to compare them like in this way. Any questions? I can as well, what Babis was saying as well, that we would like you to focus during this week on the standard dashboards and the standard dashboard items, the indicators and charts, maps, which are displayed on the dashboard, because those are needed for to finish and to go through each exercise. If you want to play more and to try compare different, feel free, but you don't need to do it in order to complete the exercises. The exercises are really based only on the items available on the dashboard and under the report function. As well, maybe during the week, the NTP can collect additional questions, and I can do one more demonstration on Friday with the most and the items you are most interested in. Over.
Thanks, Thomas. So again, just to I see there is also a comment in the chat, which is again about how we can create different graphs. This is from Daniel from USAID. Hi, Daniel. Again, just to emphasize what Thomas said, we can collect all these comments and try and show you what additional things the system can do. I think it is important to try and focus on the exercises themselves and really on the objectives of the week. If people have time, of course, feel free to play with the system. So I can tell you that what you're suggesting is possible, so it can be done. I mean, it's a pretty flexible system to really draw whatever figures and tables you need. So I think that the focus this week should really be on the on going through the exercises and then and anything else that we would like to change in the future for the dashboards. Then we can definitely look into it, and we can definitely make a list of those things and make changes to the dashboards that Indonesia will be using in the future. All right. What next? Marek, Thomas?
Yeah, I may have one more tip for all the users. The DHIS2 works best on the Google Chrome. So if you have the option to use Google Chrome, please use it. If you don't, it will work as well, but you may face some issues. It won't display the same amount of data, not data, but tools as others. But it will work. It will work. Just to say that the Google Chrome is recommended as the tool to be used.
Thomas.
Viewing problems like the report may not work 100% or something like this.
Thomas, I got one question from Sulawesi Utara. Maybe you can repeat how to download or copy paste the chart from DHIS2?
Okay, sure. So again, I think the easiest ways and the fastest way is to use the snipping tool, the Windows standard feature, or to print screen, which is fast as well, or the optional download. I will show it again. So when we have the chart, again, I will go back. The advantage of using this solution is that the quality is a bit better. The quality of the chart, it remains. If you use the snipping tool or the print screen or the Chrome or your browser tool to do the full print screen, it loses its quality a bit. It's still readable, but it loses the quality. In order to keep the quality high, you go View and Visualizer app. It displays the very same chart. You can add the values if you need. You update and then you click download. And you download it as an image, or you can download it as PDF. I would not go into the other plain data sources. You're interested in the image. And then the image will be opened in the next or in the new window. And with the right click, you can save the image as, or you can copy the image and paste it directly to your presentation or to the Word document.
Iya, Bu Andriani, apakah sudah cukup jelas tentang cara untuk mendownload gambar atau capture gambar dari dashboard? Oke, baik, sudah cukup. Thomas, is there anything else you want to share?
Okay, any more questions?
No.
I have one more question. Is it okay?
Sure.
Okay. But this is not related with the how to use the this record information to system, but this is regarding about the policy. I get information from the NTP that right now the system, how the system work is the NTP is generate the Excel sheet and send it to the WHO, and WHO entry the data, and we get this link or this website. My question is, how if the NTP maybe next year would like to implement this software, how is the approach to implementing the software? is it possible if the WHO send the source code of the software to the NTP and NTP will modify it and maybe using and integrated with the Pusdatin? So my question is it possible if you share the source code so the NTP can generate it and implement it by themselves? Thank you.
Yes, yes, definitely. The source code is publicly available on the where is it? I will show you right away.
Health facility data. I saw it there. It's there. It's there. It's under the WHO. You have it. Analysis and use of health facility data. That's it.
Here. So we have published basically this work on the DHIS2 packages is not only for the TB, but we are collaborating with other disease programs under the Health Data Collaborative. And when you go to this link, which I think it's as well shared in the Dropbox or on the number 7 dashboard, and you can see that they are the packages which we have developed for DHIS2, for HIV, immunization, malaria, and we have tuberculosis as well. And here again, we have all the guidance tools, exercise books, and there is the link to configuration package. So when you go to the configuration package, there are the versions for the different DHIS2 versions, and you have publicly available the metadata and the configuration manual and system design document. So basically anyone can download it and install it to their own DHIS2. Over.
Okay, thank you.
Bapak Ibu, apakah ada yang ingin bertanya? Atau sudah cukup jelas? Ya, sebagai informasi, untuk dashboard ini akan kita gunakan selama 5 hari ke depan sebagai tools untuk melakukan latihan. Jadi apabila ada yang belum dipahami atau ada yang perlu diulang, bisa ditanyakan sekarang agar besok dan 5 hari ke depan dapat dengan baik melakukan latihan di DHIS. Thomas, there's no more questions. Is there anything else you want to share, or we can continue to next sessions?
Yes, I mean that's all from my side. I would just encourage everyone to today, ideally, to log in, try that everyone has access to the dashboards. Everyone can filter the dashboard and everyone knows how to create the respective side comparison. And if there are any questions from anyone, if the NTP can collect it, and we can address them tomorrow, or even by email. There in the Dropbox there is the manual how to create the report. But if we get the feedback, it needs to be more detailed, or there is a need to have the manual for the download of the chart or the map, we can add it quickly. I have it in English, so I would just then ask Gita to help me with the translation, and we can provide it too. That's all from me.
Thomas, can I just quickly check with you, because in the agenda we also talk about exporting data. Is that something that you wanted to cover today, or not really?
No, not really. I think we really need to export data for the exercises.
Okay. But is that the functionality?
I mean, I can show it. Yes.
Yeah. Just because we have it in the agenda, just
okay,
so that people can see. And since we
Sorry,
have a bit of time, why don't we do this as the last thing and then we close for this morning?
Okay. I will just change the screen again.
So just to say what Tomasz is about to show you for exporting data is not something that we will necessarily be using for the exercises this week. It's one of the more advanced functionality that you can be looking at later, but it's good to know and be aware that it's available in DHIS2 as well.
So in you don't see this app in your menu, but it's there. So if you want to import or export data, there is an app, and this you can use, or we are using to import all the metadata. It means all the org units, all the maps or the shapes of the districts, all the GPS coordinates, and so forth. And then we have the data import, which we use for the historical data. And we have the same for the export. So you can export the metadata, you can export, you can do the file, which is GML file, which is readable for other softwares too. For example, if you create your master health facility list in DHIS2 with all the groups and disaggregations by public, private, and different facility type with GPS coordinates, then you can export it from DHIS2 and use it in other system. Then we have the data export, and for the data export, you basically choose the, sorry, it's a bit messy here because it's all the org units. I'll just quickly find, okay, here. So normally you would see only Indonesia here or the province, and then you choose which data you would like to export. So you would see all the possible forms. If you remember, I was showing you that the data in this particular module are based on the standard quarterly reporting. And we have the TB case notification, we have the treatment outcomes, but as well we have different forms from previous recording and reporting framework. Or you may have additional information on contact tracing or presumptive case register, and all of this. You can have the different forms here. So you select the one you would like to export. So we can select here the TB case notification. You select the start date and the end date. So we can select, we want to export the from January 2018 till now. And then you have the export form, and you have the JSON, XML, or the CSV format. So for example, you can export the data easily in order to do more detailed analysis in R or in Stata or some other statistical software. Or we were using, or I was using this, for example, to export data from TB historic to import it to the country's DHIS2. So you can imagine that now all the data for Indonesia for last 10 years, we can, in theory, there is more steps to be done, but it can be done like this. We select notification, we select the start and date. We say we want it in JSON format, and we this one. And we export it. And we get the file in theory, which then you can use to import all the historical data which we have imported to TB Historic to your country DHIS2. So it's downloaded in JSON and compressed file, and then it can be used as needed. So this is one way of exporting data. It's the raw data. If you want to export the actual reports, so you can go back to the report function and you select the data set report. And here again, we want to do the case-based notification. For example, this process can serve as during your supervision, which you may do every quarter, that you want to compare the data which are in DHIS2 with the data which are in the SITB or in your Excel sheet. So you select Indonesia, you select this province, TB notifications, you want to see quarterly, and you select the first quarter. You get the report, and it automatically aggregates all the data from facility level to the provincial level, and now you can simply compare this data with your paper form or Excel or the SITB as well. You can download it as an Excel or PDF. So this can serve for the monitoring or just validation of the data if you want to, when you are rolling out the system, that you make sure that all your cases from the paper register will make it to the DHIS2. That's all from me. Over.
Great, Thomas.
Questions?
That was very useful. Thank you for that. Okay. Any questions about that, about the export functionality? I think it's important to make that point, because I'm aware of quite a few systems that make it very difficult to export the raw data and use it. In theory, this is only needed for for advanced analysis, because obviously DHIS2 is not a statistical software, right? So if you have, for example, case-based information and you wanted to carry out some regression analysis where you're looking at some risk factors for TB, well, you cannot do that with DHIS2. Obviously, what you can do with DHIS2 is tabulate information and carry out, simple graphs with maps and tables. If you wanted to carry out more specific explicit statistical analysis, you would need to export that data and then import it into another system. But I wanted you all to see that, because we have seen in the past in many countries actually TB surveillance systems that do not export the data. It's actually really difficult to export the data. So as you've seen, this is possible with DHIS2. Both for the analysis of more detailed statistical analysis, but also for what Thomas had shown in the end as part of the reporting to confirm data during your monitoring visits. All right. Any last minute questions before we close for today?
I think there's no more questions.
All right.
Since it's already 4 p.m. in Indonesian time and it's already 6 p.m. in East region of Indonesia, maybe we can finish for today's meeting.
Sounds good. Okay.
Ya, thank you Babis, Thomas, and Marek. Bapak Ibu, berhubung sudah memasuki waktu pukul 4 sore waktu Indonesia Barat dan sudah pukul 6 sore ya di Indonesia Timur, mungkin kita bisa akhiri untuk pertemuan hari ini. Dan sebelum Bapak Ibu keluar dari room ini, kami mohon kesediaannya untuk mengisikan evaluasi. Akan saya share linknya sebentar. Ya, Bapak Ibu, berikut link untuk evaluasi dari pertemuan hari ini. Apabila ada masukan atau ada evaluasi dari pertemuan hari ini dapat diajukan atau ditulis melalui link ini. Untuk agenda esok hari, kita akan mulai pukul 8.30 dan registrasi akan dibuka mulai pukul 8. Bapak Ibu diharapkan kembali ke room yang sama, di room ini dengan link yang sama pada pukul 8.30. Untuk Bapak Ibu yang belum mengisikan daftar hadir, diharapkan mengisi di link bit.ly/WSFB TB 2020. Kemudian untuk materi juga dapat diakses melalui link bit.ly/materi/WSFB TB 20. Bapak Ibu, apabila ada yang ingin ditanyakan, dapat disimpan untuk pertemuan esok hari. Diharapkan dapat kembali ke room ini pada waktu yang telah dijadwalkan dan dapat mengikuti agenda dari awal sampai akhir. Sebelum kita akhiri, apakah ada yang ingin ditanyakan lagi Bapak Ibu terkait agenda besok atau terkait dengan materi hari ini? Baik, jika tidak ada pertanyaan, kita bisa akhiri untuk pertemuan hari ini. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu atas waktunya. Kita akan ketemu lagi besok di jam 8.30. Selamat sore, saya akhiri. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks. But sorry, before everyone logs off, I just want to maybe take a second to explain tomorrow morning Indonesian time. So, as I mentioned, there are 2 videos for you to watch. What I didn't actually say during my presentation is that the videos are recorded in English, and the translators will do the translation of the videos as you're watching them. So you're welcome to watch them yourselves if that's easier and okay. Otherwise, it will be presented through shared screen and translated in one shot altogether. And please share your questions with the facilitators who are online in the morning, and we will answer them in the afternoon. And with that said, thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you found this introduction useful, and starting tomorrow we'll get to the actual sessions for doing the analysis and the exercises. Thank you.
Thank you, Marek.